Season 27 not only gives Rampart buffs and makes her stronger, it changes how players can play her with a new amped boost, insane perks, and being the first legend to scale its power as the Evo upgrades. So in this video, I will talk about how she works in Season 27, how to utilize her new buffs and interaction, and introduce a concept that works very well on Rampart. One of the main buffs in the season is her amp boost, which charges the cover by dealing damage through the amp shield, or the cover itself taking damage from the enemy and gives players speed boost while running over the wall, and obviously the charge conversion rate varies. The minimum speed boost will last for 3 seconds, and when the store charge is at the maximum, it will provide players with 15 seconds speed boost. So in Season 27, after you deal damage to an enemy, you can utilize the opening you just created, walk over the amp shield, getting the amp boost to get a speed boost to push forward quickly to secure the upper hand. One of the unconventional ways I like to use the amp boost is actually flanking the enemies. With amp boost, your running speed is basically equivalent to sliding speed, and as we all know, sliding makes quite a bit of noise, so a more silenced version of slide running makes it easier to surprise the enemy, like in here. We're at a disadvantage and the enemy is a high ground. Since I got amp boost, I quickly run towards the enemy without making too much sound and climb onto the ledge without them realizing what's happening, which results in me one clipping the Wraith, and the rest of my team pushes and kills the rest of the team. And fun fact, did you know you can get the amp boost even when the wall is destroyed when it's in deploying stage? Well, I just knew that yesterday and it might be helpful in some days, so I just brought it up. Her amp shield now also has a roof, which some of you probably like, it's just a roof, it shares the same HP pool as a front amp shield, what's so special about it? Well, do not underestimate how useful the amp roof is, because in Apex, we're always fighting for the high ground. Having an amp shield roof means players has a wider angle to amp the player's bullet while also having a wider range of protection from the enemy's line of fire. An example here, we have to walk up the slope of death. Our back is against a rank 3 zone, we know there's a team above, and we are a duo. The enemy starts to shoot us, and I've started to place down walls even though the angles aren't ideal. The wall gave us a fighting chance, and I've done some decent damage on them while they're struggling to quickly kill us. Despite the fact we still die at the end, it does show that having an amp roof can help a lot even in the worst case scenario. Her passive now increased 200 HP walls and 25 HP amp shield per Evo upgrade, which makes her the first legend to have a kit that scales its power as the Evo upgrades. And with max Evo, she has an 800 HP wall, which is slightly more than a default Newcastle Ultimate's HP, so I highly recommend placing down walls while you can to secure a spot with a deployable one-way angle 20-second CD speed boost while dealing damage mini Newcastle ult. This is the part where every YouTuber asks you to subscribe, and that's exactly what I'm doing because ChatGPT is replacing all my future jobs and I don't want to work at McDonald's for the rest of my life, so please help me and subscribe right now. Her perks has received some insane buffs, where her blue perk can either choose to carrying extra ammo and grenades and have access on red weapon supply bin, or the other perk which gives her entire team a faster reload and infinite ammo while behind a amp cover with amp shield still exists. That's right, teammates included. This essentially turns Rampart and its teammate into Terminator mode and makes it pretty obvious which perk you should choose. Her purple perk either buffs her ultimate by improving mobile shield's handling and spin up time by 20%, or gives her amp cover a HP regeneration if it's not being damaged for a certain period of time. Makes her an extremely good legend to apply pressure on the enemy team. And the reason I brought this up is because I want to introduce a concept called phantom pressuring, which is introduced by Feds in this video. Basically, what phantom pressuring does is creating a threat to the enemy team that they can't ignore, in this case, a goddamn Rampart cover, but then you don't use it. Rampart is very good at this because the amp cover provides a one-way angle for your team to shoot at the enemy. It's hard to destroy without wasting ammo and resources, and unlike other controller legends where the ability and kit is pretty passive against the enemy, Rampart just had to place down the amp cover and it already applies pressure for the enemy team, since A, your entire team can have faster reload and infinite ammo while behind the amp cover, making your team effectively having more time to spam bullets at the enemy direction like some psychopaths. B, your amp cover will regenerate HP, meaning even if the enemy team destroys the amp shield, it will regenerate after a short time. So unless your opponent has enough resource to keep destroying a 800 HP amp cover every time, the enemy team will just avoid those angles if possible. Take a look at this example. We are flooding a team at underpass. In traditional Apex moment, we are getting flooded immediately. My team starts to shoot the enemy team while I keep pulling the enemy team's line of fire further away, creating a cross angle while dealing decent damage onto the enemy squad. At this point, they know I'm playing Rampart on the high ground and I can deal decent damage onto them. Since I can keep placing walls to block their bullets while farming back, they can't see any point to keep peeking at my side and decide to shift the focus onto my team by moving themselves onto this side of the rock, shielding all angles from me. What they didn't know is I already left that angle as their Sparrow still firing his ability on my previous spot, making me able to exploit this opening and knock one of them. It's what is supposed to happen, but I missed all my shots. But obviously, the enemy team didn't expect that at all since their Horizon panic ulted. I then climb onto the rock and place down my amp cover and start to apply as much pressure as possible in the most obvious spot, making their Valkyrie and Sparrow focus on me and allows for my teammate to flank them. I then reload my gun behind the cover for infinite ammo and we ended the fight by me white swinging them and we are getting further instantly. What I'm trying to show at this part is why the enemies can't ignore an amp cover and how much of a threat it could be even if you don't have god aim, making the idea of phantom pressure works well on Rampart and how you can utilize the amp cover to create more opportunities for the team in the fight. Continuing this clip, we're getting further and I place down the cover for my team to play with. They destroy the amp shield of my first wall and Caustic try to push in, but because I have regeneration on my walls, the amp shield regenerates and I suddenly have a one-way angle shooting at Caustic, which I utilize it nearly downing the Caustic. I then use the quick reload to clear out all the traps around me and caught Caustic again at a bad spot, leading their entire team get further by another team again. This just shows how Rampart's perk in Season 27 makes her a great legend to play with, combining with all her other buffs. Rampart in Season 27 is no longer just a turtle strat legend, she is a proactive, aggressive legend which rewards the team by actively shooting at the enemy. What do you think about the new Rampart? Comment down on your thoughts and techniques on the new Rampart and subscribe if you find this video helpful. Anyways, I'm gone now.